Let us continue sentences and its kinds. Now we will look at transformation of sentences. How do we change from one sentence to another? At first, let us look at how to change a declarative sentence to an interrogative sentence. That means a simple sentence to a question. A declarative sentence is changed into an interrogative sentence by changing the position of the auxiliary verb. Now the auxiliary verbs are am, is, are, was, were, has, have, had, do, does, did. So if you change the position of the subject and the auxiliary verb, it becomes a question. For example, she is wearing a blue frock. Is the auxiliary verb. So if you change the position of she and is, for example, is she wearing a blue frock? And then you put a question mark, it becomes an interrogative. If there is no auxiliary verb in the sentence, we change the verb by looking at the tense. So in the case where there is no auxiliary verb, then we look at the tense of the main verb and we change it. For present tense singular, we use does. For present tense plural, we use do. And for past tense, we use did to begin the question sentence. For example, Rahul plays football. Plays is present tense, Rahul is singular, so we used does. Does Rahul play football? They play football. Play, present tense, they, plural, so we use do. Do they play football? Rahul played football. Played is past tense, so we use did. Did Rahul play football? When you make a question, the verb will remain in the basic. How to change an interrogative to declarative is just the opposite of us what we saw from declarative to interrogative. We do this by changing the position of auxiliary verb and subject. So are they eating apples? We change the position of are and they. They are eating apples. Did he study well? Did is used for past tense. So study will become studied and you will remove did. So he studied well. Does he like ice cream? Does is present tense. So like will become likes. So he likes ice cream. Now let us see how to change a declarative sentence to exclamatory sentence. We change the declarative to exclamatory by adding the word what or how. So in a declarative sentence, if you have the vowels a or an, if you have the articles a or an, then we begin the exclamatory sentence using what. But if there is no a or an, then we begin the exclamatory sentence by using how. So look at the example. He is a wonderful player. A is there. So then we begin with what. What a wonderful player he is. You will change the position of the sentence. He runs very fast. So there is no a or an. So then we will begin it with how. How fast he runs. We won't put the adverb very in that. We will remove the adverb from the sentence. The last one is exclamatory to declarative. So same way, what a rude person he is. What is used in exclamatory? So we remove the what and then we put the sentence in order. He is a rude person. Full stop. How intelligent the boys are. We remove how and then we put the words in order. The boys are intelligent. Now let us look at how to transform simple, compound and complex sentences. Rule number 1. In a simple sentence, if the form is verb plus ing, then the complex sentence will have the word when and compound sentence will join using the word and. For example, simple. Seeing the police, see plus ing, seeing the police, the robber ran away. When it becomes complex, when the robber saw the police, he ran away. So we used when. And in compound, the robber saw the police and he ran away. So this is rule number 1. Now rule number 2. In simple sentence, without plus verb plus ing. When it comes to complex, if plus negative sentence, and in compound or. For example, simple. Without working hard, you will not be successful. So without plus verb, that is work plus ing. When it became complex, if you don't work hard, if plus negative sentence, you don't work hard, you will not be successful. Compound will join using or. Work hard or you will not be successful. Rule number 3. Symbol, that is by plus gerund. Gerund is ing form which acts like a noun. Complex if plus and compound is and. For example, simple. By reading attentively, you will cut a good figure in the exam. Complex, if you read attentively, you will cut a good figure in the exam. And compound, read attentively and you will cut a good figure in the exam. Rule number 4. Simple, in spite of or despite any of these two words plus noun phrase. We studied what is noun phrase, a phrase that acts like a noun. When it comes to complex, you will use though or although, and compound but. For example, in spite of his illness, he went to school yesterday. When it became complex, we have to use though or although. Though he was ill, he went to school yesterday. Compound, you have to use but. He was ill, but he went to school yesterday. Rule number 5. Simple because of plus noun phrase. When it comes to complex, you have to use the words as or since and compound and. For example, because of his poverty, he can't afford a car. So because of plus noun phrase. When it came to complex, as he is poor, he can't afford a car. And when it comes to compound, he is poor and he can't afford a car. Rule number 6. Simple in order to or to. Complex so that plus subject plus can or could plus the rest of the sentence. Compound and so. For example, Jason saves money to buy a car. So you can either write in order to buy a car or to buy a car. When it came to complex, you have to use the above format. Jason saves money so that he can buy a car. Compound, Jason saves money and so he can buy a car. Rule number 7. Symbol to. So you will use both the words and in between there will be an adjective or anything else. Complex so that plus subject plus can't or couldn't and compound and. For example, the bag is too heavy to be carried. So too heavy to. When it comes to complex, you have to use the above format. The bag is so heavy that it can't be carried. And compound, you will use and. The bag is so heavy and it can't be carried. Rule number 8. Symbol at the time of or at the age of. So if you use these two words or phrases, in the complex you will have to use when and compound you have to use and. For example, at the time of reading, George came to my room. When it became complex, when I was reading, George came to my room. And when it is compound, I was reading and George came to my room. Our last rule, rule number 9, symbol during or in. When you have to write it in complex, we use when and compound we use and. For example, during winter, nature becomes dry. When it's complex, you have to use when. When it is winter, nature becomes dry. And compound, you have to use and. It is winter and nature becomes dry. I hope you have understood this chapter. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.